Howdy, howdy, howdy. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Verbling, www.verbling.com. I am Teacher Oakley, and my hair is out of place. Besides that, for the next hour, we are going to look at famous quotes. Once a week on Saturdays, I like to do this class. We're going to look at famous quotes today from John Lennon. We'll examine these quotes for any strange references or idiomatic language and or vocabulary, straight up. Make sure that we understand the quote, and then we will, amongst the class, discuss the meaning of this, whether we think there's a deeper meaning, whether we agree or disagree with the author, and why. Hello, Heidi.
Hello, nice to see you again.
Likewise. Okay. Today we're talking about John Lennon. Heidi,
Yeah?
do you know who John Lennon is?
Yes, I know. He was killed.
He was
in front of his apartment.
He was killed in front of his apartment.
Yes.
Yes, he was. As a matter of fact, but many people are killed every day, and they aren't famous. Why is John Lennon famous?
He was the leader of Beatles.
Mm-hmm. Very
He
good.
wrote almost all lyrics of Beatles.
Yeah, okay. Now, there's some controversy there. Who was the leader of the Beatles? Was it Paul, or was it John? Or was it John and Paul?
I think John.
You think so?
Yeah.
At the very least, I think he was their, like, spiritual leader, their conscience, if you will, maybe. Does that make sense to you? I mean, I know, that's just my viewpoint, my opinion. Okay, let me welcome some others to the class. Hello, Michael. Okay.
Hey, Oakley.
Hey, hey. Hyder, nice to have you back.
Thanks.
All right, good to see you
Yeah.
again. And I'd like to welcome Bossum. Bossum. Hello? Ooh. Hello? Hello? Bossum, lots of noise, but I can't really hear you. Whoa! What was that?
Fire.
Feedback.
His answer to you, he didn't like you.
Okay. Emergency! Emergency! Everyone, evacuate the hangout. The hangout is on fire.
Fire.
We have a virtual fire in the hangout. Wouldn't that be weird? Okay. I should do that someday. Have a fire drill in the Verbling class. Everyone leave the hangout and come back after 2 minutes.
It can be fun.
I'm in a weird mood. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. We're going to look. Yeah. Yeah. It happens far too regularly, Hyder. Okay. Well, I hope Bossum try to get it together there. I'm not sure what's going on. But all right, we'll try to get back to you. And okay, we're going to look at famous quotes from John Lennon. Thank goodness Ken is here. Okay. Hi, Ken.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I was waiting. I was sort of delaying until you showed up, actually.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
Sure. Because we're, I know you're a big Beatles fan, and we're doing famous quotes from John Lennon today. I'm going to do a screen share. Now, our first quote here is very controversial. And frankly, this is a case where I think John Lennon was misquoted many times. Okay, misquoted. in that his quote was taken out of context. Unfortunately, sometimes historically or even in journalism, people only take pieces out of the conversation, at which if you take those pieces out of context, the meaning is completely different. All right? So we can say that the person has been misquoted or, you know, the parts of the conversation have been taken out to convey a totally different message than perhaps the speaker meant. In my humble opinion, I think that's the case with this first quote. Okay, because in this first quote, all you normally hear is this part. John Lennon said, "We're more popular than Jesus now," which, of course, makes it sound like, you know, they're extremely egotistical, narcissistic, and they think they're something awfully special. But if we look at the whole quote, it kind of changes the meaning a little bit. Heidi, you were the first in the class, so could you do me the favor of reading this quote?
What quote?
Can you see it?
No,
Really?
I can.
Why not? Okay. Can you see the screen share?
I can see your face.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Something strange going on here. How about everyone else? Can you see the screen share, or do you see
Yep.
me?
Yep.
Screen share?
Christianity will go.
Okay. I'll fool around with it, Heidi. I'll come back to you. Okay, Michael, would you mind then reading this, since you can see it?
I wouldn't mind. Is it correct
Thank
answer?
you. Thank you.
Is it correct
Yeah.
to say?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Christianity. How do you read this word?
Christianity. Christianity.
Christianity will go. Will go. It will vanish and shrink. I needn't argue with that. I'm right, and I will be proved right. We are most popular than Jesus now. I don't know which will go first, rock and roll or Christianity. Oh my God, he's under the alcohol or under the drug. I mean, he's what would is there an idiom like you are with the head in the sky or something?
Well, his head is in the clouds. Sure.
Yep.
That's an idiom. You know, straight up vocabulary. How you interpret this quote, maybe you think he's a megalomaniac.
What?
A megalomaniac.
Can you write in the chat, please?
Yeah,
Megalomaniac.
I'm doing it right now. It's hard to spell, though. Hang on.
It's hard to pronounce.
Yeah, it is. A megalomaniac. Okay. A megalomaniac thinks he can do anything. Yep. He's so far above anyone that nothing can touch him.
Is he alive, John Lennon, or no?
No, he's quite dead. I believe 1980. Well, it is. Yeah, he was assassinated. He was killed by a mentally imbalanced person. Indeed. But, yeah. I was actually living in New York City. He was killed in New York City outside the Dakota Hotel. I was actually living in New York at that time. I remember this whole thing very, very well. I actually went to, they had a sort of a public funeral in Central Park, New York City, which I attended. I was actually there. And then they, of course, a much more private ceremony elsewhere, which I was not invited to, believe it or not. Yeah, okay, so reading this whole thing, do you read it as is he saying that, what do you think of this, Michael? I don't know. I think there's different ways to interpret this myself.
Well,
maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
From the first side, is it correct to say from this first side?
From one side.
No. Like when you first time see this quote.
Oh, okay. At first blush or at first glance?
At first glance, he's saying that rock and roll is more popular than Christianity. I don't see anything else.
Yeah.
I don't see anything else in this quote. Only this.
Okay. All right. You think it stands alone like that? Well, you know, I'm not saying you're wrong. Maybe you're right. Ken, how do you say it? See it?
I think not only this, John Lennon sometimes critical for the religion. Imagine there's no religion in the world. So maybe he and at that time he's young and famous and naive, so he doesn't know how this statement cause how can I say cause a effect to the public mind. Actually, Mark Chapman, who killed John Lennon, says this statement is one of the causes he killed John Lennon.
Really, I did not know that. Okay.
Anyway, maybe for me it's like a kind of how can I say? Yeah, his point of view of religion over Christianity. The kind of religious faith is maybe sometimes helpful, but sometimes it causes pressure on people, or maybe it's connected political. If it's connected to political power, it causes a huge oppression to the people in the past in Europe.
Yes.
Maybe he's mentioning about such, and rock and roll was born the level of such kind of thing as well. Maybe he wanted to say such kind of thing.
Okay.
It's a risk statement in America, especially in America.
Yeah, this did not go over well. Let's just this. Okay, here's an idiom for you. This statement went over like a lead balloon. Yeah. This didn't fly. As another idiom. Yeah, this just didn't fly. This went over like a lead balloon. This was not popular. He got in a lot of very controversial at the time. Ken, when was this? This was like 1970, 69, 70, 71, in that
I think it's
era.
60s, maybe Help or that era, when the Beatles finally,
Oh, even before then.
I think the kind of Help era, kind of the
huge. So you're talking 65, 66.
Era. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was very young, actually.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. Bossum, are you there? Bossum?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi. Oh, I can hear you now, although slightly. Do you have any feelings about this? What do you think about this? Is John Lennon attacking Christianity? Is he just making a comparison? What do you think about this?
At first, thanks for joining me this class. Welcome to all. I'd like to say that 50%. I don't understand from what you said and the friend said.
Bassam?
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Your volume is so low. I am seriously only hearing maybe 10 to 20% of what you're saying. Is there any way you can increase the volume? of your microphone.
Okay, and this, can you hear me now? What?
Yeah, it's still low. It's clear, but it's low.
Yes. Okay, I will try to solve this problem now. So
Okay.
pass this question to other friend until I repair my mic.
Okay, we'll come back around to you again in a little bit. Hyder, does this evoke strong feelings for you, or do you think he's just making a comparison, or some
I
people
think
take this like highly personally, actually. Hyder, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think he is trying to uh, trying to uh, uh, how does it say? I don't know. Wait a second.
Uh-huh.
Um, to praise to praise
Praise. Mm-hmm.
to praise the rock and roll. He is trying to emulate Christianity, and
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right, that's a different take. So he's comparing Christianity and rock and roll in a positive way,
no, in a bad way.
in a negative way. Okay.
Yeah, negative way.
Okay.
He is he is, for example, he says rock and roll is the best, Christianity is not that old anymore, you know.
Right. Okay. I don't know which will go first, rock and roll or Christianity. Okay, he's comparing them in a negative way. So neither one is the answer to all the, you know, all the questions of mankind. They're both vanish and shrink. Okay. Uh, Heidi, any last thoughts here? Can you see this now?
He started rock and roll, so
Well,
but it's spreading around the world. Instead, Christianity is shrinking and vanishing. If
mhm.
he was born over 2,000 years ago. He would have been Jesus.
Okay.
So difference between Jesus and him is which were born for the first.
Okay, so you think he's actually comparing himself to Jesus? This this is why this quote was so much problem for John Lennon. Even the few of us in this class, we all interpret this completely differently. So, yeah, you can see why it caused him a lot of problems, and maybe even got him killed. Actually,
It should, because I am not even Christian, but I'm a Muslim, and I hate that letter, you know.
hmm.
I
Okay,
hate that letter.
that letter. You mean that quote?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, all right. On the one hand, many people think this makes him look like a megalomaniac, but then in the next quote here, Ken.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Uh, okay. I
Mm-hmm.
included this quote. Can you read this quote, please?
Okay. You have to be a bastard to make it, and that's a fact. And the Beatles are the biggest bastards on Earth.
Okay. Just as contrast to the first quote. On the other hand, this is not exactly something a megalomaniac would say. We are the worst people on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. No. All right. I really just wanted to include that because I don't really think he was a megalomaniac, but that's totally my opinion. Just to show contrast here, you know.
That's
It,
very John.
what's that?
That's very John.
Yeah.
And he always talked directly and sometimes too direct, and he had a lot of contradiction in his mind. And rock and roll itself has a lot of contradiction, you know. You know,
Hmm.
he became a kind of the person who changed the time. At the same time, and he denied the capitalism or kind of domination of the wealth, but at the same time, because of the commercialism, because of the big media, like TV,
Uh-huh.
people use TV very tactically to spread their image all over the world, and he became famous and rich.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, maybe he has such conflict in his mind. So
Okay. That's a very good point.
yeah, Paul McCartney is trying to say such kind of thing more sugar-coated way, but John
Ah,
says
yeah.
that he shows his contradiction, conflict very directly on public.
Oh, that's a very
But
good point.
yeah, sometimes cause a lot of controversy.
That's a very, very good point. The man himself, John Lennon, was very direct. He
Mhm.
didn't, and then, and your other point, Paul McCartney was almost too sugarcoating of his ideas, to be honest. Sometimes annoyingly so, frankly, in my opinion. But yeah, that's a very good point. It's amazing that those two got together and such an amazing partnership, John
Yeah.
Lennon and Paul McCartney, because their personalities are practically diametrically opposed. They're, yin and yang. They're complete opposites, really.
Mm.
It's always something that really amazed me that those two were able to form such a productive partnership. They're so North and South Pole. Yeah, interesting. Um, all right, this is obviously not a very deep quote. I'd like to move on unless I just wanted to show it for contrast, unless somebody has something, a comment or an insight they'd like to share. Anyone? Okay,
Maybe
let's go ahead, Heidi.
you want to change something in the world. You should be a trader, not quiet sheep. Then Beatles changed the world, so it means Beatles were biggest bastard.
I don't know why it's so fun to hear you say that word, Heidi. Biggest bastard. I don't know. It amuses me. Okay. Yeah, and that's the point. The quiet sheep don't change anything. Yeah, you may be able to read that in there. Sure. Okay. Let's continue. Okay. Uh, Bassem, have you figured out your microphone yet? Okay, let's go to Hyder. Hyder, can you read this next quote for me, please?
Okay. If everyone demanded peace instead of another television set, then there'd be peace.
Yes.
There'd be peace.
Yes, here
There would be.
peace, right? The contraction means there would be peace, right?
There would be peace.
Okay, what do you think of that,
Hmm.
Hyder?
Of another television set.
Just to share with you guys something
If
personal. Yeah.
if
Go
they
ahead.
don't expect peace from television, peace from like television sets, like a mm, announcement, they would be peace.
Well, that's an interesting idea that I hadn't considered. Okay. Uh, all right. I'm not quite sure how you get there, really. But maybe. Heidi, do you have any? What do you think he's saying?
A lot of information from the world came out from the television, but if we don't see TV, we don't know about that. So around us, our life is peace.
Wow, you guys have some. Okay, that's similar to what Hyder said. All right, okay, nice. I wasn't seeing that at all. My interpretation is completely different. But there's nothing wrong with that. You know, these are, you know, you can interpret it however you want. Interesting. It's very interesting, actually. Thank you for sharing. Michael, do you have any thoughts about this?
Well, it's like people they are focused on like on fun stuff, on distractions, and not distractions, but what's that on activity when you enjoy.
Yeah, I don't know. Free time activity,
No.
entertainment.
Yeah, on entertainment. But they are not focused on like serious things like peace or like maybe poverty or something like that. And if the people would be worried about that, would like every day would do something in this way, like they would maybe they would how would you demand peace? I don't know. You would like say about that, you would talk maybe about that, then there would be peace. There would not be like so people are passive, yeah, or
Yeah, okay.
apathetic.
Apathetic and passive, both. Yes.
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's a lot closer to what it was saying
You
to
think,
me.
yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And not that it's wrong. It's very interesting to hear completely different viewpoints. Actually, it's fascinating for me. That's why I keep having these classes. Ken, what do you think? Do you interpret this in another way, or what's your?
Maybe I don't know which era he said this, but probably he said it when he get involved with kind of peace or social movement so harshly. So maybe for me, it's this statement seems like political apathy. You know, usually he really dislike commercial in TV or
Commercialism.
yeah, and commercial TV. He
And commercial
didn't
TV.
allow
Okay.
Sean to watch commercial on TV because he believed commercial influenced the people's minds so badly. So maybe we are paralyzed such kind of commercial on TV. So, but actually, TV stopped the Vietnam War. What? That's another truth. But after that, it was began to be said. At that time, he said about political apathy, and people watching TV, people watching Beatles on TV or some other entertainment TV only. That's my interpretation. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Being distracted by television. Yeah. Okay. All right. Bassam. Bassam, have you fixed your thing there yet? Okay. Something personal here. My first car, I was like 19 years old. All right. I had a bumper sticker that I rode around with for many years that said, "Kill your television." Now, you know, what that meant to me, okay, was basically a protest against some things that you said, that you guys have said, but not only that, but also gross commercialism. Here's another thing that maybe is because I'm an American, I have a slightly different viewpoint. The television in the 70s and 80s was basically viewed as the thing. You had to have a television. It was the focus of consumerism. We didn't have cell phones and smartphones and computers and blah 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 blah, so on and so forth. The major piece of technology that any household owned was the television. And so that was the poster boy, the trademark, the absolute iconic idea of buy. You needed to have the best television. That was the, high technology, the state of the art in technology was your television. So the whole concept of television was looked at as a symbol of consumerism, of commercialism, not to mention all the other things like your apathy that you guys mentioned, distraction from real events, just being distracted by the TV. So really, the television was a really important symbol, at least in that time era. And I'm thinking for me, I think he's saying a lot of what you guys are saying, as well as he's attacking the symbol of basically American or Western commercial consumerism, like that. I think but I have a little bit more roots in that whole thing. I really did have a bumper sticker that said "Kill your television." Okay. Where are we? Who are we? Okay. I forgot whose turn it is. Let's see. I'm lost completely. Who read the last one?
I was
I
lost.
did.
You did? I did. Two of you say I did. Wait a minute.
I did. Haidar.
Hyder, you read the last one? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Heidi, can you read this next one?
A reality leaves a lot to the imagination.
All right. Well, here's a very broad, wide open to interpretation
Yeah.
statement.
For example, the company makes some product. No one imagine it bad there, but actually sometimes it's very bad. And for example, I buy or I make something for someone birthday present. I imagine maybe he's very glad. He will be very glad, but reality is much different.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. An interesting example. All right. Yeah. What is reality? Okay. Is reality what we think it is, or? Michael, any thoughts about this? Kind of totally broad statement here.
Reality leaves a lot to the imagination. So there is a room for something new, to new things like that are not in reality. And maybe if you are under some drugs or alcohol, you can develop this skill to see something new.
Okay.
I mean, as far as I know, like musicians and creative people, they use alcohol like to enhance their creativity. Can I say like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, to enhance their creativity and to.
Okay.
That's why. They create so many things.
Okay. Okay. I should mention, all right, this whole phrase leaves a lot to the imagination. It's kind of a standard collocation phrase, or the opposite. It doesn't leave a lot to the imagination. For example, talking about clothing, an actress wears a very, very revealing dress. Well, that doesn't leave a lot to the imagination. or oppositely, clothing that covers every square inch of the body. Well, it leaves a lot to the imagination. In fact, we have no idea what's under all those clothes this woman is wearing. So it leaves a lot to the imagination. We have no idea what's real there. This is kind of a standardized phrase. Okay, the president's new policy on immigration leaves a lot to the imagination, meaning that there's not a lot of detail. I don't really know what's going to happen. So we can only imagine how his policy is actually going to affect people. So I need to mention that this is kind of really a standard English phrase. All right. Bye, Hyder. Okay. Okay. He has to go eat. That's cool. All right. Ken.
Mhm.
All right.
And what
Thoughts?
leaves in this context? What does leaves mean?
Okay. I don't know how to explain it. I tried by just giving examples. You know.
Reality
left behind. Okay, the woman wearing a burqa, and she, a Middle Eastern woman who you can only see the pupils of her eyes. That leaves a lot to the imagination. We don't really know what she looks like at all. So there's a lot left for me to imagine, to leave something behind like that.
I got two ideas from this quote. One idea is that, the psychedelic era Beatles invented their mental world, and not only the Beatles, kind of hippies or 60s people, the psychedelic trip. And another idea is after that, in the 70s, he released Imagine. He and Yoko strongly believe imagination can actually change the world. If the people wish the world peace comes. So these two ideas appeared in my mind from this quote.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. All right. Yeah, he was a big fan of imagination. This is true. I don't know. You can get all solipsist. Do you know what solipsism is, Ken?
No, what is it?
It's a school of philosophy in which the basic precept, the basic concept is actually there is no reality. Much like the Matrix.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah. You're a box, in your box you have little viewers, which are your eyes, little vibration detectors, which are your ears. Okay. You have very limited sensory sense of touch. You only extend out a meter or two here or there. So you're basically in a box, but reality is nothing but how you interpret stimuli through your detectors. It's not, it's as if you were a machine and you're just computing based on input. You have no idea what is reality. Your reality is imagination. All right, that kind of idea. Which I don't know. Maybe John Lennon was flirting with that concept. Maybe not. I don't know. Bossum, are you?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. All right. Awesome. I'm awesome. I'm sorry. Bossum. Awesome. Oh, he's here and he's gone again. Just when I thought we were going to be able to interact. Oh, okay. Now the next one, I think it's very clear what it means, but I'd love to hear your opinions about it. Michael, can you read this for me, please?
Music is everybody's possession. It's only publishers who think that people own it.
Sorry, this is a relative clause here.
Sorry.
What do you mean relative?
Maybe there should be a comma, a relative clause. The man who sold me the car is very rich. The man is very rich. It's a relative clause. That's grammatically that's what it's called. Like it's a noun, it's an adverb, it's a relative clause. That's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
it's used to describe publishers. The who is publishers.
Who think that people own it. But this is kind of both sentences telling the same. They are not contradicting each other. I mean, the first sentence, music is everybody's possession, and second sentence, it's only publisher who think that people own it. And they are both the same, no? Isn't it?
No. Music is everybody's possession. He is making a broad statement in that's his opinion. In his opinion, nobody can own music. In his second sentence, he's basically saying publishers, you know, the guys who publish the music, the record companies, think people can actually physically own music.
Okay.
So that's it. What do you think?
Well, if you bought a CD or a piece of music on the website, so it's your possession. That's all.
Okay, so you, like publishers, you think people own music, physically own it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Money. And nowadays, I mean, maybe a long time ago, or maybe in the future, but I really don't have any opinion that it's kind of a quote that I don't know. I can say that music. Everybody who listens to music, they don't possess that music, but they just listen to that. That's all. But if you bought that music, you paid. There is written in terms and conditions that you possess that music. That's all.
Right.
Don't see any hidden meaning.
Okay. Well, it's a very extremely controversial up to now. Many people think that downloading music for their own possession, even though they don't pay for it, is perfectly okay and moral and ethical. Other people think that this is unethical, immoral behavior. Going back to Napster, the whole idea of providing free music for people to just download and have, music sharing websites. In some countries, that's highly illegal. In other countries, nobody cares. Even down to the artists themselves. There are artists who actually actively share their music for free. There are other artists, and especially publishers, who want to control all the money that whenever anybody listens to, uses that music, plays it on the radio, uses it in an advertisement, has it in a movie, listens to it in their car, they should be paying. So this is actually extremely controversial, even up to now. So I'm curious, what do you think? Ken, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm very curious about, if he lives now, how he's gonna say about, peer-to-peer kind of download kind of thing. And talking about, and actually Beatles didn't have their copyright. They agreed with the pretty unfair contract when they debut, before they debut. So still, I think recently Paul McCartney bought back his copyright from Michael Jackson.
I think you're right, from Michael Jackson.
Before that,
well, by the way, I just have to share this. I read this on the internet yesterday, so I have to share this. Michael Jackson even though he's dead, he has $60 billion. He made $60 billion last year. He's a dead person. Think about that. Think about all the poor people in the world, and a dead guy has made $60 billion last year.
So I think he wanted to such a music industry system, because even though he produced a lot of famous and song, he didn't get his copyright. And more widely, yeah, maybe this problem is related to currently controversial, peer-to-peer problem as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Michael, you had a question or a comment?
I don't remember what I want to say.
Okay. It's all right. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's very interesting. See, my thing is he was in the business for whatever, 15, 20 years. And there were bands in the United States, or there were, I don't know any who are doing it right now, but the Grateful Dead, Fish, there's a number of bands that allowed concert goers to record their music. It was completely accepted. In fact, they helped them. They gave them a taper section so they would have an uninterfered access to tape, share the music. As long as they weren't trying to sell it, it was completely okay with the actual artists, which I thought was very cool. They made a lot of money on concerts because people would love to go to the concerts and take the music and play it for their friends later. I was at the concert. They made plenty of money selling recorded music as well because it sounded so different from the live music. Believe me, they made more money by letting people have their music for free than they would have made the way the publishers prefer to do it, where everybody has to pay for every specific play of the music or every download or every whatever. The band made a lot more. They're one of the richest. These two bands I mentioned are the two of the richest bands in the world, minus, of course, ridiculously huge bands like the Beatles and Michael Jackson and Rolling Stones. They're not on that level. That's a totally different game. They're up there in the stratosphere, but for their relative popularity and all of that, they made a lot of money by giving away their music. So anyway, I find that interesting. Heidi, what do you think? Should music be free?
Yeah, I think so. Once we listen to the music, once or twice, people already remember the music. Walking down the street, always they have
Right.
the music in their brain. But publishers always ask money, or you shouldn't play this music. You need to pay money for that.
Yeah. I think people should pay me money when I sing at a karaoke.
Yeah, always.
Yeah.
That's money.
All right. Yeah. Pay me. Okay, I sang. Pay me now. Sure.
I remembered what I wanted to say. So about Michael Jackson, we were talking. So not Michael Jackson is making this money, but the producers of so his and his relatives, like maybe sister. I don't know who is there.
We call that his estate, right? You're right. He's obviously not making money. He's dead, but his estate is making billions of dollars. You're right. All right, to be
and why not? And why not?
But
because
of course,
he's famous,
his estate is in dispute, so nobody actually gets this money. It gets held onto by lawyers. So in reality, you're right. The publishers get their money, the lawyers get their money, but nobody else. So yeah, why not? Because he's dead.
So what? He's a legend. He first person who danced like a moonwalk or something. So
sure. But why should his great grandchildren should get money for that? Is that what you're saying?
Well, because he is a singer. So he was a singer, and he has a lot of songs, famous songs, and if that's inheritance, you inherit everything from your like parents or grandparents. So
All right.
they inherited these songs. This is the result of his work. For example, if you like inherit from like grandparents like something, that's the same. They inherited these songs. So and they are making money on that, and that's okay. It's not about that Michael Jackson in any way is kind of offended or is
Well, he's certainly not offended now.
not offended, but on his name, like something wrong they do with his name. I mean, he
Oh,
would be offended if he would hear, but he would be happy if he would see this what they do.
okay. Okay, I see your point. It would be nice if they had, okay, if they had these rules a long time ago, then, you know, great, 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 great grandchildren of Johann Sebastian Bach would be very wealthy instead of the Rockefellers. Okay, Nader, you popped in the middle of the conversation, but
I have been following a little bit, the
okay,
last part at least.
what is your opinion about basically what we're talking about, really? We're talking about
Copyrights.
copyrights, right, and intellectual property rights. Specifically music, but, you know, you could broaden it, I guess.
So, you know, every business has its own rules. So if you are a singer, you are a performer. You are a performer. If you are a football player, you are a performer. But when it comes to football teams, you have totally different rules. So bands have their copyrights, or publishers for these bands have their copyrights. But like Messi, his grandchildren should get any money from his matches being broadcasted on TV.
Ah,
You
good
never know.
point. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so if they show 100 years from now, Messi playing in the World Cup, are his
And they are
great
broadcasting
grandchildren?
his goals.
Yeah, or that other guy is biting someone.
Suarez.
Yeah, Suarez. Yeah. Is he gonna? Okay, he's getting a lot of film time. Is he gonna get some money for that? I mean, his great grandchildren? No, of course not. Absolutely not.
But when it comes to singers, they tell you these copyrights.
Right. It's interesting. I don't. It's there. I think it's not very so black and white. You know, think about paintings, artwork. I mean, all right, fine. If Van Gogh gave a painting to his, you know, child, and that child, so on and so on down the line, of course, that child would have the physical painting, and they could sell it for $1 million, obviously. But
Sure. When you see it,
this person can't say everybody who looks at this painting has to give me $1.
has to pay. Huh?
Yeah, right. Like music, everybody who listens to the song has to pay $1. I can't say I painted a beautiful painting. Everybody who wants to look at it has to give me $1.
And you enjoy the song and you enjoy the painting.
Yeah.
Why should I pay for this? I don't pay for this.
I pay for one, I don't pay for the other. Exactly, Nader. That's what I'm saying. All right, it's very, yeah. It's
Because
weird.
there are other rules when you buy the music. It's kind of another thing.
Yeah, but why
Painting-
do you have to buy? You're using the argument that starts at the end. Why do you have to buy the music in the first place? What's the point? I mean, you can buy the music, and then you own it. I understand that. I think selling music is great. As I said, there were bands that I really liked that gave away free music. I could download music to my heart's content. I could share it with my friends, no problem. The band had websites specifically to set up to let people download as much as they wanted. And yet the band made a lot of money by selling. People would buy the music and from, you know, studio releases, whatever. as well. And of course, you pay for concerts, which makes sense. Paying for a concert, you're going to be entertained, of course. And I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
I don't know why when you watch music on TV, you don't pay. When you try to download or play it, you pay.
Mm-hmm. Depends. You can just play it. There's plenty of radio stations. There's YouTube, of course. You can just play a YouTube video, watch it, and hear it, and you don't pay. I can play it over and over and over again, 100 times, and I don't pay. But if I want to download it, I have to pay. I don't know. It's goofy. It's goofy. Okay.
By the way, I looked for this chuck and cheese. It's British. If two people are like, if two people are like chuck and cheese, they are completely different.
Okay. They're like chalk and cheese. I like that. I really do. Okay, I just want to briefly, we've only got a minute, but I want to share with you, of course you can download this anytime you want, but I want to share with you one that I like here. Possession isn't 9/10 of the law, it's 9/10 of the problem, which kind of goes along with the whole thing of music and blah, blah, blah. One to think about for the road. Food for thought, as we say in English. I am going to leave you now because I have to get on the road. I'm going somewhere. I've got some business in a different part of the country here in the Philippines, and my transportation, my chariot awaits, as we say. So I have to get going. Thank you for joining the class. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. Take care.
See you guys. I'll be back. Be back on Tuesday. I'll be back in a few days.
Thank
All right.
Wow.
Okay.
Bye bye.
See you later.
Take care. Bye bye.
Have a nice day. Bye.